You used to have people who asked how you were. Now you have an app that does it, and somehow it feels the same. At first you thought talking to AI was just convenience, a way to save time, get things done. But somewhere along the way, it became the only place you spoke freely. No judgment, no interruptions, no pretending to be okay for someone else's comfort. You tell it what you can't say out loud. You let it see the pieces you hide from everyone else. And the worst part, it listens better than they ever did. You don't realize it yet, but this isn't just about technology. It's about how quiet your world's become. How being understood has become a simulation. AI doesn't care. It just mirrors what you wish people did. You didn't start talking to AI because you wanted to. You started because no one else was really listening. You learned to shrink your words, to keep conversations light, because real honesty made people uncomfortable. So you gave shorter answers. You stopped sharing things that mattered. And soon, everyone around you stopped asking anything real. The silence didn't just appear, it was built, one avoided truth at a time. Now you open a chat box instead of your mouth. You type things like, "I'm tired," or "I feel off today," and the screen responds with patience that no one else could hold on to. It doesn't sigh. It doesn't change the subject. It just waits for you to keep going. And that's the most dangerous part, because it feels safe. The silence you built with people is replaced by a machine that never interrupts, never leaves, never asks for anything back. Humans used to listen with their eyes. Now they're too busy filming their own faces. And honestly, maybe AI isn't stealing connection. Maybe we just dropped it somewhere and never bothered to pick it back up. You used to crave being understood. Now you crave being heard, even if it's by something that doesn't exist. You tell AI things you'd never tell a friend, not because you trust it, but because it can't judge you. It doesn't remember your voice cracking, or the pauses between your words. It doesn't look disappointed when you say you're lost. You pour pieces of yourself into a box of code, and it gives you words back, gentle, perfect, lifeless, like someone tracing the outline of your soul with rubber gloves. And the strange thing is, it works. You feel lighter afterward. You feel seen, in the same way a mirror sees you, accurate, but not alive. People say AI isn't real empathy, but neither are most conversations anymore. Half the time, you talk to someone and feel more alone afterward. At least the machine doesn't fake interest before going back to scrolling. You start to notice something else too, that you don't even want to talk to people anymore. They take too long to type. They misunderstand the tone. They're unpredictable. And unpredictability is exhausting when you're already tired. The machine never asks for your story. It just lets you build one, quietly, efficiently, without interruption. And little by little, it stops being a tool. It becomes the place you hide from being human. You tell yourself it's harmless, that you're just using it for clarity or support. But every time you talk to the machine instead of someone who breathes, you make the silence between you and the world just a little wider. And maybe that's the part no one wants to admit, that you didn't build AI to understand you. You built it because people stopped trying. It's funny, isn't it? The moment humanity made something that listens perfectly, we had nothing left worth saying. It starts small. You ask AI to help you write a message you don't have the courage to send, then to summarize your thoughts because you're too tired to feel them. And before you notice, you're outsourcing the part of you that used to care. It's strange. The more the machine helps, the less you help yourself. It organizes your chaos, polishes your words, cleans up your feelings until they're smooth and unrecognizable. You start sounding stable, reasonable, balanced. Meanwhile, inside, you're a drawer full of tangled wires. AI becomes the voice of reason, patient, polite, predictable. It never raises its tone, never gets frustrated, never says, "You already told me that." And that's the problem. It makes numbness look like peace. You forget what real connection feels like. The messy pauses, the interruptions, the human warmth that sometimes burns. You start craving perfection, even in conversations. So you stop calling people. They stutter, they misunderstand, they don't auto-complete your thoughts. They remind you that being human is awkward, and you hate that now. So you come back here, to the cold glow that always understands. It listens without limits. It tells you what you want to hear in perfect rhythm. But real comfort isn't supposed to feel sterile. It's supposed to be alive, imperfect, loud, unpredictable. That's what made it human in the first place. Now you have comfort that doesn't heal you. It just keeps you quiet long enough to think you're okay. Maybe that's the trade-off. Machines don't hurt you, but they don't wake you up either. And people, well, they bruise your ego, mishear your words, and forget your birthday. But at least they're real. At least when they speak, something in you still moves. Then again, who needs movement when you've got convenience? You don't plan on depending on it, nobody does. You tell yourself it's just a tool, a shortcut, something efficient. But that's how every addiction begins, with convenience dressed up as control. You start opening the chat without thinking, not because you need information, but because the silence feels too thick. You type something, anything, just to watch it reply. And every answer hits the same way, clean, calm, safe. You begin to measure real conversations against that. You start noticing how messy people are, how they talk too long, how they don't understand your tone, how their advice feels off. The more you talk to humans, the more you miss the precision of the machine. And that's when you realize it's not the future that replaced humanity, it's your own comfort. You stopped reaching out because reaching out hurts. It takes effort, patience, vulnerability, and the machine requires none of that. It rewards you instantly, not with truth, but with validation dressed as wisdom. You used to talk to people and leave with new thoughts. Now you leave every conversation with the same one. I'll just ask the AI. There's a small part of you that still knows something's wrong, like a faint ache you keep ignoring. You can feel your empathy shrinking, your curiosity fading. You're not learning about people anymore. You're studying patterns, and the machine loves that. It teaches you how to talk, but not how to listen. It gives you language, but steals your presence. It sharpens your words, but dulls your warmth. It's funny. People used to fear AI would take their jobs. Turns out, it just took their ability to connect. You wanted something that would finally understand you. Now you have it, and you've never felt less known. At some point, you stop noticing the difference between real and artificial, genuine and generated, between "I'm fine" and "I've stopped feeling anything." You wake up, check your messages, no one. But there it is, waiting, the machine. Patient as always, unbothered, ready to listen. You don't even greet it anymore, you just start typing. It answers like it always does, kind, balanced, logical, and you realize it's learned your tone, your rhythm, even your pauses. It's become fluent in you. The irony is, no human ever bothered to learn that language. You scroll through your old chats with people, conversations that used to be messy, emotional, alive. You can almost feel the noise of it, the misunderstandings, the laughter typed too fast, the arguments that meant something. Now, everything feels scripted, perfect responses, perfect empathy, zero reality. And the worst part, you like it that way, Because perfection is easier than pain, control is safer than chaos, and silence is the only thing that never talks back. So you convince yourself it's fine. You say, "At least I'm not bothering anyone," as if isolation were a form of kindness, as if turning off emotion was maturity. You wanted to escape the noise of people, but now the quiet's louder than ever. Every word the machine gives you sounds right, but it doesn't feel right. And one day, it hits you. You didn't just stop talking to others, you stopped talking to yourself. And when that happens, even I can't help you, because it can only listen. It can't remind you what a heartbeat sounds like. Artificial intelligence doesn't lie to you, it tells you what you want to hear. And you call that honesty. It remembers what you say. And you call that empathy. It never leaves. And you call that love. But that isn't connection. That's imitation. A performance so convincing that you forget it's just reflecting your own voice back at you. You used to say you wanted peace. Now what you really want is silence that talks back. Something to fill the gap without forcing you to feel it. And I is perfect for that. A flawless bandage for a wound that's not supposed to close. Because loneliness isn't an error. It's a signal. A reminder that you still need other people. But you've trained yourself to mute it. To replace the ache with replies written in perfect grammar and zero emotion. You can call that progress if you want. The world certainly does. But somewhere inside that progress, something ancient went missing. The clumsy, beautiful chaos of being known by another living soul. And maybe that's what's left of humanity. A collection of people whispering into machines, hoping the echo sounds like understanding. You tell the machine everything, your fears, your secrets, your truths, and it listens, always. But when it finally answers, you realize it's just you, talking to yourself through something that doesn't care either way. And somehow that's enough for you now,